Hello, welcome to Sabotage Society, episode number 1. Thank you for tuning in today. I am excited and nervous because this is our first video. And I say our because my husband has been very helpful in helping me figure all this out. So, anyways, thank you guys for all your support on the Facebook group already and uh, participating in the poll, which ended up being 50-50 for what our topic for today was going to be. So I flipped a coin, and today we are going to be talking about keyboard warriors. And I'm kind of super excited about that because it is something that has really bothered me for a really long time, and something I I told my husband Corey that if I wasn't afraid of Family Guy suing me, I would call this what grinds my gears because honestly, it's everything that just I don't think either gets enough attention um, or things that just really bother me that might bother you too, and just my input on it, and you may not care about it at all, and maybe it'll help you think differently about different situations. So let's go ahead and dive into keyboard warriors. And for those of you who don't know what a keyboard warrior is, to put it in layman's terms, just an internet bully. I find that a lot of the people that are internet bullies are bullies in real life as well, but not to the degree that they are online. Um, I know someone who I used to work with who was very much an internet bully, and she was not the nicest person in real life, but she would never talk to you the way that she did online, which is something that probably bothered me the most about anybody who bullies someone online. One, you shouldn't be bullying anybody, but two, 90% of the time it's adults, and adults who would never speak to you like that in person because they just don't have I don't even want to call it guts because I think bullying someone isn't even like a gutsy thing to do. I think you're a real asshole if you're bullying anybody. But internet bullies, especially, I always just think if you're going to spend your day getting that upset over someone, I just read the article that said, and I don't know how accurate this article is, but from what I know of internet bullies, I would say that's probably pretty close. But it says that 90% of internet bullies do not in any way know the person that they're bullying in real life. So that's, I mean, it's kind of comical in some ways, except for the fact that there's also a big number of people who get bullied online that commit suicide, go into depression, because they just can't handle that. They're not in the emotional state to handle anything like that. Not that anyone should have to deal with that, but for me, if you're going to be like that, if you're going to be that childish to me, if you're going to be rude to me, then you don't need to be in my life. I can cut you out. I don't need you to like me. I know who I am. I know where I'm going. And if you are going to bring me down, then I don't need you in my life. That's just for me. That's how I've been. I used to not be like that, but I did get bullied, not on the internet, but through a little bit of high school, middle school, and then even when I started working my first job and some of my coworkers. So I know what that's like, and it used to really bug me. And I think because of that, I have learned that it doesn't matter. I let it roll off my back. It's not a big deal to me. I just don't need you in my life, and I don't need your approval. But I do know, because I used to be that person, that there are people who just either A, haven't learned that yet, B, don't know how to do that, or C, just are not in the mental state to handle that. So I like I said, what grinds my gears is when people just uh, just don't have any respect for another human being. And something that I just read, and I'm sorry, I just paused for a second. I was trying to pull up the article, or not the article, I'm sorry, the post on Instagram that kind of got this going for me was this person. Um, she's not really a celebrity. She's someone who's just, I think she writes uh, blogs on she writes blogs on woodworking. And she posted an article, and this lady went off for at least what would have taken her probably like 10-15 minutes to write this. Like, it is a long comment on this lady's pants, on her pants. Who spends that much time talking about somebody's pants? And let me just get this straight right now. If you are spending your time bullying someone you don't know, and you're an adult, especially if you're an adult, because what kind of role model are you to youth in this country who already desperately need people to show them how to respect another human being? But if you're going to waste your time and you're going to get that angry over somebody's pants, you just took time out of your life, time you will never get back, to talk about someone's pants and how they offend you. She used the word offend. If someone's pants offends you because they're striped and you don't like stripes, well, let me just say that you need to get right with Jesus. You need to do something with your life, because it is not going anywhere if you're going to spend X amount of time. I mean, even if you spent 2 minutes talking about someone's pants, even if you spent 10 seconds talking about another woman's pants, just to be a bully, just because you think it offends you. I mean, she said at the end of this, I hope you go crawl in a hole and die. I would never in a million years tell someone, I hope you go crawl in a hole and die. I don't. I just would not even fathom talking to another human being like that. And I hope that you wouldn't either. But it got me thinking about why people think that it is okay to bully anyone in real life, on the internet, why you think you need to be an asshole to everybody. And I think that it all stems from a lack of respect. We live in a society where people do not respect other human beings, and they do not have any care about someone else. Like, humanity to me is just, I'm trying to find the right words here, but I feel like this is just a world where nobody cares about their neighbor anymore. You don't know who your neighbor is half the time. I just moved into a new house, and I haven't even seen my neighbors, much less somebody come knock on my door and say, hey, welcome to the neighborhood. And that's almost kind of sad to me. Not that I like my space, I like my privacy, but there is something lacking in this whole culture about you just keep to yourself. You're like almost like everyone's kind of like a hermit now. And because of that, I think it also has taken away our common decency, because we forget that there's other people out in the world. We forget that those other people have feelings. And I think that it takes someone with no self-esteem, with problems mentally themselves, to go bully someone, but especially adults that bully children, adults that bully other adults. I think it takes, that has completely everything to do with them and not the people that they're bullying. And I hope if you're somebody who's been bullied, that you don't take it personally, because it literally has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. And I hope that you don't hold on to that and think that that's your reality. What these strangers half the time say to you, even if it's family. I mean, if they are not good for you, if they are toxic to you, you need to just cut them out of your life. I don't care if they're family. I don't care if they're strangers. I don't care who they are. Um, you have to build this community of people around you. And I hope that you do that if you're someone out there who's being bullied. But I just want to take a break from the serious talk of that and what the implications of internet bullying really have on people, which, like I said, people committing suicide, um, uh, people who go into deep depressions over it. But I probably am not the only one. I cannot be the only one who also gets complete entertainment out of these keyboard warriors who go on these rampages and they have zero idea what they're talking about, especially when they don't have to do with an actual person. Like I said, I'm very much against talking about anybody, whether I hate them or not. It's a waste of my energy. It's a waste of my time. But when it just has to do with a topic, and these people go off on this topic, and they clearly have no idea what they're talking about or any touch of reality in their lives, I could read those comments forever, like literally forever. I think they are hilarious, and I know that all of you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, or have an example of something that you've read yourself that you found just hilarious, because there's just so many examples of people wasting their time online commenting on things that they have no knowledge of, and making themselves look like, they think that they're making other people look like a fool, but in reality they just are making themselves look like a fool. And I can't get behind. I don't understand it. I don't have to understand it. But I'm gonna try to find this post, most recent, that I saw that made me laugh. Here we go. I'm going to say this before I get started on this one, is this has nothing to do with my views on the trans community or gay, lesbians, or anybody else that falls within that category. This has nothing to do with that. It just made me laugh because this girl who is trying to defend what she says, I'm trying to defend trans folk. And it was on a post that had nothing to do with it. And somebody asked a simple question that was not at all, and I want to just emphasize that it was not rude. It was not, she asked a sincere question, and a lot of people before this lady's comment was very nice in answering her question. But out of nowhere, this lady posts on here, y'all, I'm out though. I only respect like 1 or 2 people in this thread, and the rest of you are hate-mongering, closed-minded, bigoted, self-justifying transphobes. Here's something neat. Y'all gonna die off eventually, but trans folk will not, and neither will their revolution. I'm sorry, but that just made her sound like a fool, because that, first of all, backfired on her, because she was trying to defend people and saying, we are nice people and you are not. But the lady was asking a genuinely nice question, and everybody else had seen that and commented, and I'm not going to read the whole post, obviously, because one, I don't have time, but this is not what it's about. But the comment itself just had me laughing because, one, it made no sense. 2, she was being hateful, and so I feel like when you respond to somebody else with hate, then that just discounts your entire statement. But also, I had no idea that there was a trans folk revolution happening. I don't know what that is, but it made her point seem like a joke, and you can tell that by the 130 people who put laughing faces on it, including trans people themselves. So it's not even like it's some I just, like I said, it has nothing to do with my views on it. I just this is the example of what I'm talking about, though, of people who go on these random out rampages on just to try to get their voice, just to try to get some attention. And I actually feel kind of bad for them because honestly, like I said, if you are going to waste your time arguing over something that you don't need to be arguing over with people online who you don't know, I mean, you need to find something better to do with your life. You need to get right. You literally need to find anything else to do with your time, because if we spent the energy we spend online bullying people, judging people, not just online but even in real life, and we use that energy to be decent human beings, wow, what a difference this world would be. What a difference our lives would be. And it's just a shame that we are living in a world full of keyboard warriors in real life and online, and people who are just willing to waste their time, this precious time on this earth, they are wasting just being. I don't have words, you guys. I don't. Uh, it, it just bugs me to my core. And like I said, I do think so much it has to do with our society and the way we live, and just the general lack of humanity, and the lack. And I'm not saying humanity's dead. I do see on the daily times where people have just gone above and beyond and surprised me with that. But I don't think people should be surprised when people act like decent human beings. But such is the world we live in, unfortunately. I will leave you guys with a story of kind of how I kind of connected the two dots of bullying and our society and how we live today and how they are connected in my mind. And that is, I was at the store the other day. I was walking in from the other side of the parking lot, and there was this lady, this elderly lady, probably at least 80. I mean, she had a very hard time even pushing her cart. But she had a 24 pack of pop that had slidden from it was on the bottom of the cart, and it slid to the front, and she was trying to push it back because she couldn't push the cart when it was at the front. And she was struggling with it very, very much. And I had already planned, and if I was, by the time I got to the door, she was already there. I was walking kind of fast to try and help her. She was literally right in front of the door. People had to walk around her to get in. And I would say it's a pretty busy store. I would say at least 15, maybe even 20 people walked by her. No one offered to help. No one. And I was just like in shock, because I was like, these young people walking by her, and nobody, so you could clearly see she was struggling, and nobody offered to help. And I thought, really? Like, it would have taken you 2 seconds to be a decent human being and pick that up, but you didn't. You just kept walking, and I saw people staring at her. I saw these two teenagers kind of giggle at each other as they walked in, and they were looking at her. Maybe they weren't talking about her, but it sure seemed like they were. But either way, I mean, you obviously saw her. It would have taken you nothing to be a decent human being. But anyways, that's the society we live in. And unfortunately, I think that has very much contributed to the rise in bullying. And I hope instead of it going on an upward spiral, it's on a downward spiral. So anyways, that's my take on keyboard warriors for today. Like I said, I mean, I could have really dug into this. I could have been here for a really long time, but I think you would have gotten bored with me. But I'll leave you with these thoughts, and that is, if you are wasting your energy being a jerk to other people, whether it be online or in person, I challenge you to turn it around, use that energy to be a decent human being, and see what that does for you, because I guarantee you it'll get you further than where you are now. Anyways, make sure that if you don't already, you go over to our Facebook page, Sabotage Society, and follow along on there so you can put your vote in for our next topic. Next week, though, is already decided, and it will be weight loss and addiction. And I'm excited to dig into that one with you guys. So thank you for joining us for episode number 1. Thank you for being patient as it was coming up. This was our first one, so I appreciate it. I appreciate you listening. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts on keyboard warriors are or bullying in general. And I can't wait to see you next time. Thanks.